ever feel like history is repeating, but this time the script's being written by the banks? Because right now, the chart you just saw, this isn't some random meme. That's human emotion, hope, euphoria, capitulation, the psychological fingerprint of every bull run. And guess what? We're right back in it. But this cycle, there's a twist. This isn't retail FOMO. This is institutional orchestration. The same people who told you XRP was a banker coin are the ones who are loading up on it quietly behind the scenes. And today, we're going to connect all the dots, folks. Welcome back to the Bullwinkle Blueprint. Look, if you're new around here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. If you're coming back for some more of that good info, hit that thumbs up. It's the ultimate way to support the channel. Now, look, before we dive in, let me ask you something. Do you actually have a plan? I'm talking your exit strategy, your tax setup, your LLC structure. You know, the stuff that decides whether you're going to keep your profits or give them away. If you ever wanted to talk to someone one-on-one, face-to-face about a crypto strategy, this is it. Book your call with me. We'll go over everything before the markets take off. Link is down below in the YouTube video description. Go get that call booked today. Now let's jump into it, folks. Bitcoin coming in at $124,357. It's currently up 0.2%. ETH coming in at 4,695. It's currently up 2.75%. And XRP, well, not so yeah, buddy. Coming in at 297. Things just stuck in the mud. Something we have spoken about for quite some time. $3 to $4 is going to be a tough cookie to crack. We'll do a little XRP TA towards the end of this video, but about 318 is your key number on XRP. Nothing happens until $3.18 gets broken. Total cryptocurrency market cap coming in at 4.27 trillion. Now, when we look at the crypto psychological chart here, where do you think we're at? On this chart, where do you think we are? Every emotion is perfectly labeled here, right? What we're looking at is the human cycle of greed and fear. Where I believe we are sitting somewhere between optimism and belief. You know, this is the quiet stretch where the smart money is going to start accumulating again while everyone else is scared. Every correction, every dip, it's all been manufactured to shake out retail. And that's exactly what they have been doing. Just like in 2017, just like in 2020. And this time, it is even more calculated and they are even more precise. We're talking about AI-driven market making. We're talking about algos driving liquidation. Everything is designed to transfer wealth from emotion to precision. But here's the thing. Because while retail is out there arguing about price, arguing about who's the best TA chartist on crypto Twitter, the institutions are busy setting the rails. Ripple isn't trying to win hype. You know what Ripple's trying to win? Ripple's trying to win infrastructure. And we get over to this. Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, the biggest asset manager on planet Earth, drops this bomb. Goes on, he says, no one should be surprised if Bitcoin hits $300,000 this cycle. Now, do you think that's a random statement? Look at where we are in the markets, in the cycle. Look at what he's doing. He's messing with you. He's messing with your mind, your brain. You know why? Because look, they know where Bitcoin's going. They know how high it's going to go. But what do they want to do? They want to keep that $300,000 number buried in the back of your mind. So you're sitting there waiting for it. And they're taking profits. And your 300,000 number never comes. And they're fully out. You know what happens there? You become exit liquidity. This is what we call psychological priming. BlackRock's been leading every major financial transaction for decades. They don't guess here, right? BlackRock signals. So when the same entity that owns half of Wall Street says the market's about to explode, well, it means one thing. You're about to see a massive capital rotation. And once Bitcoin's narrative is inflated to perfection, Oh, that's when the real move begins. The flow into utility assets. That's where XRP comes in. Because when a hype phase, utility rises, and we're watching that rotation form in real time. And then the White House, this ties in exactly to what Larry Fink is telling you. The White House expects a crypto market bill to pass within the next 3 months. You realize what this means, right? Regulatory green light, right in time for Q4. It's almost like the timing is perfect. Crazy how this works now, isn't it? They're not doing this randomly. This is timing precision down to the exact quarter. That is how accurate these people are. First, they create fear. Then they create SEC lawsuits. They cause confusion in the markets, and then they create chaos. Then they step in as we're the saviors, right? We're bringing clarity. And who benefits? The ones who are already building within the system. Ripple's been playing 4D chess with governments while the rest of the market is arguing on Twitter. By the time this bill passes, XRP won't be a speculative asset. It'll be part of the new financial framework. Everything's converging, timing, regulations, and institutional entries, which gets us to this. Chris Larsen's vision of the interoperable era. Listen to what Larsen has to say. We're going to get into this. This is big.
Why we went all in on this whole blockchain movement is we just realized there's a fundamental problem in the world that needs to be solved, and that is you really can't have globalization that's workable unless you have interoperability in 3 things: data, goods, and money. And we only have those in 2 things: data and goods. Without the money part, globalization doesn't work. It's incomplete. So what's really exciting is we think what blockchain really represents, the finishing of an internet of value, is the completion of globalization. And now suddenly I think we have a much better chance of that working for another 2 billion people. We just thought there was just a matter of time before the world was going to have some form of a digital currency that had no government behind it or no counterparty. But I think that kind of evolved into this excitement around, hey, it's not just about the currency, but fundamentally it's about wiring an internet for money. This is almost like 1994, the first days of the data internet. But I think what that means for the world is it's the commoditization of reach. Suddenly, every single entrepreneur, every bank, every currency in the world has unlimited reach. And right now, that's not the way it is. And that's just exactly what happened to data. Now is happening for money. And that's really fun and exciting. And I think we'll have, kind of the stakes are even larger when it comes to money and value. This is going to be a profound change on the way the world works, and I think brings the world closer together. I mean, through all this backlash and globalization, we all know that we have no hope unless we are kind of working together. And I think this is really going to clear a lot of the friction that's kind of getting in the way of the promise that globalization was supposed to bring.
All right, let's talk about this. You can't have globalization that works unless you have interoperability in data, goods, and money. I want you to read between the lines here. He's talking about the plumbing of the world's economy. Data runs on the internet, goods runs on logistics, but money, it's still fragmented, trapped in outdated systems. Ripple's solving that with the same design logic that built the internet. They're not competing with banks here, they're connecting them. Every pilot, every corridor, every on-demand liquidity test, it is all part of the architecture of the next global monetary layer. So when he says all in, he means it. Literally, he means it. This is going to be the backbone of interoperability, folks. And then we get over to the XRP chart. What we're looking at. This chart, super bullish, super bullish. We just got one little problem. And we've always had this little problem that we've been struggling to get by. And it sits right here. It sits in between 309 to 318, call it 319. This has been our issue. And if you date back, you can come all the way back to as far as pretty much summer. And we have tried several times to break through, and we are unable to. XRP, as long as we stay above $2.77, it remains in a bullish structure. You can see the green wave coming through. Once 318 breaks, we have a leadway to run anywhere from 342 to 388 before we see any more resistance on this chart. It is going to happen. What I want to remind you here, because I see all people on Twitter, the XRP doesn't move. Why are we stuck? I can't believe it's still $3. Remember, XRP moves last. Bitcoin has not had its parabolic blow off top yet. Bitcoin has not had its final leg yet. That is still coming. That is all happening in Q4. Once that happens, we will see XRP have its time to shine. For now, this is still Bitcoin. Yes, altcoins will get a little boost, a little bit of a push up here. I do expect XRP to break 318 at some point within the next 2 months. In October or November, it's going to happen. It's going to have its run. We will be in that 4 to 650 range, but that is not it, right? That is just alts playing a little bit of a catch up phase to Bitcoin. Our time is coming. Remember, XRP, you need a lot of patience, folks. I've had it for the past 8 years. I know how this story unfolds. I'm excited to see it. So here's the question. Was this all random? The cycles, the timing, the statements, the lawsuits? Or was this all part of a setup to transfer power from chaos to control? Because every time they said XRP was dead, it was really just being repositioned. And now, the final phase is beginning, the point where disbelief turns to mania. Chris Larsen, he's not just talking about interoperability, he's describing the infrastructure of the next monetary system. And when that switch flips, you won't be able to buy the dip. You're going to be watching the new financial order go live. Hope you enjoyed, folks. Exciting times ahead. Do me a favor, smash that thumbs up on your way out. Make sure you get that one-on-one call booked. I'll catch everyone a little bit later this afternoon. Enjoy your Tuesday.